evening everyone, welcome to round 4 of the Slip and Grip Simracing Ginetta G55 Championship. This evening brought to you from Oulton Park. So the guys have been in the test server all week and we have been seeing that the weather is looking like it's going to be a damp one this evening. But they are indeed changeable conditions. So the guys just making use of their last 5 minutes of practice and we'll just see how they are getting on. Moving forward. Right, they're away. They're away. I'm rambling. Quick, where's the helicopter? Where's the helicopter? There we go. Right, as the drivers head away. Race 1 of this evening. Rain on the forecast. They're going to be watching out for the clouds heading over. We can see how quickly that turns. Let's keep an eye on Paul Hayhoe as we head onto race 1 of Oulton Park, round 4. So the driver's waiting for the call. There it is, across the line. Ross Parker out of position, so gains a drive through. Not the start to the evening he wants. Matty J leads into turn 1 and Brown slots into second. Paul Hayhoe thinks about going around the outside of Andrew Wellborn. It's not really on, but that's opened up an opportunity for Matt Davies down the inside. It's going to put him on the outside for Cascades. They have weird shadows as they fall down the hill. Paul and Matt touch slightly, but Matty J away at the front. Paul Hayhoe maintains that position. And just behind, Joe Challoner is now attacking Scott Savage down into the fast left-hander. Joe a touch of the grass on the inside but lives to tell the tale as they all jump on the brakes. Scott follows him through and that's down one place, but he'll be quite happy. In the background we've lost a car. Glenn Savage involved there. Blake is okay. TrackMax shows it's car 33, Nathan Yates in trouble. So Nathan Yates with a slight coming together, and I think just in the background there, Ashtoft and Drogovic have made contact, so that's not what they wanted. Back down the front, we're all filing through the chicane. In the background, that's a Fulton involved. Harrison's been involved in an incident. Let's go back 10 seconds. He was already backwards, not sure how that's happened. And then he's just driven back out, could have stayed still. Into the 20 cars. So strife up and down the field. It's given Ross Parker a good opportunity with that drive through. So Matty J leads through the final turn and Brown is indeed second. Andy Wellborn for third. Paul Hayhoe not too far behind. I thought I saw a car crashing, but I think that was Ross. It was Ross going to the pit. So the field streams through those that haven't been involved in incidents. So it's Glenn Savage, Blake, Igor, Nathan and Ashtoft all further back in the field. So hopefully that'll be Ross keeping well out the way there. So Matty J leading now. Pressure still on those top cars, all separated by the finest of margins. Matty D has got a Joe Challoner now well on his case as we head down into the chicane. There's a bump across the curb there, unsettling. Good run by Joe up the hill by the looks of things. Let's see now as we head down, he shows his intent early on, but just a dummy there. As we flick through the left-hander, the tyre stack is still in position at the moment. Matt now out and up the hill. The guys all running through at Oulton Park. Just keeping an eye on the weather forecast. That rain could soon roll in as we head out of Druids over the crest that sometimes unsettles the car, but everyone surviving at the moment. Joe just offsetting into the braking zone just to make sure he's all over Matt's mirrors, but Matt is very used to that. It's not the first time he and Joe have raced. The two of them know each other in the real world. They know exactly what they're going to be doing. So Johnston leads. Best lap is 0.3 slower than Andrew had essentially had a warning on the last lap. Because Andrew's best is currently showing as a 7:38. So, Ant Brown out wide. He's absolutely pushing. So he might be our fastest lap holder, but it's taking everything to keep up with Matty J at this point, just to stay on terms. We're just over 4 minutes in, and it's already relentless. The top three battling nose to tail at the moment. Andrew electing to use the curb, unwind that steering earlier on, and head off down the road. All fairly equal through the chicane. No one particularly closing in there. Again, it's perceived to have a good run, but it doesn't look like he's going to catch up. Top three breaking away slightly. Paul Hayhoe not quite staying on terms with the front runners, but this is Oulton Park. Anything can happen. Scott Savage got the measure of Alex McGee at the moment. A little flick of oversteer as they head up the hill, so that'll work in Alex's favour. Domino's livery car in pursuit. Alex actually currently last of the top runners. Joe Challoner out wide there, kicking up the dirt. Is that going to affect him into the next braking zone? He does elect to turn in slightly earlier than Matty D. Doesn't appear to have done him any harm, so getting away with a brush with the dirt there for Joe. Dave Rose now over the hill. Tom Lyons in pursuit. Further back you've got Craig Fulton. Ryan David looking to close him down at the moment. Flick of oversteer, trying to stay within track limits for Craig there. Ryan just behind. Ash Wooten now, and a recovering Harrison Fulton. You see the damage on the front end of that car. So we didn't quite see if he fell or if he was pushed, but Harrison involved in an incident resulting in some damage. Now, can Ross Parker catch him up? He's been pushing on track limits as well, because he's still not done a valid lap. Rain in 10 minutes. The light rain warning for 10 minutes away. So it could be the closing stages where we just get that rain starting to come down. We saw a number of cars involved earlier on. So you've got Glenn Savage. Nathan Yates has made his way back off the grass onto the circuit. I don't think he's pit, so a little bit of front end. We saw him bouncing off the tyres. Ash, we saw definitely involved in an incident. Yeah, way off the pace of what he wanted to be. Drogovic in pursuit, and then Blake, who we did see in the pits. So getting some nice seat time under his belt. Blake, the 13-year-old, who's joining our ranks and is, he's not quite on the pace of the guys yet, but if he continues to put in the seat time, he will soon find it and will be well in the mix. So Matt has done 43.3 on that last lap. It was in the 44s and the 45s for Ant. Andrew Wellborn's got by. Sorry, I've missed that. So if we go back a minute. Oh, it was a move out of the chicane. Elbows out for Andrew. He saw a half hint of a run and went for it. Well, it looked legal. A slight bump on the way through, and went to take his normal line, but we'll leave that one to the stewards if it's necessary. But yeah, the opening was well and truly there for Andrew. And that appears to have shaken Ant Brown a little bit, because he's immediately fallen into the traps of Paul Hayhoe. Oh, Paul's looking inside then outside, and that's made him susceptible to a run from Matty D. Yeah, down towards the turn one. Matty D could have well sent one down the inside, but he elected not to. So some good racing by these guys. If you do notice anything on the timing screens, or you particularly want to watch one of the drivers, if you're joining me live now and not watching it back, then please do shout. Sorry, I know a minute was a long time to lose. So Ant Brown still ahead of Paul Hayhoe, and we're coming back towards Andrew Wellborn. This is all allowing Matt Johnston to scamper away up the road. Wellborn will be happy with second. A dive from Joe. Quick 10 seconds. How much of a run did he have? There's the culprit. Oh, he's come from a long way back. Matt saw him coming, turn out of it, but they still connect. Oh, it's looking cloudy. Here comes that rain. So, Matty D, and then Joe is 2 seconds off the back of him. Here he is. Right. So that not working for Joe there. Andrew now under pressure from Ant Brown. Can Ant convert it into a move? It's going to be one hell of a move. If it's into the left-hander, yeah, backing out of that one, probably rightly so. See the skid marks on the floor from the earlier incidents that we've saw. Now, Shell Oils, Andrew out wide, the understeer catches him, he tries to cut back and get on the power. It gives them equal runs down into the chicane. Well, in quali, I said it's a brave man that overtakes into here. It certainly is. Andrew's gone in pretty quick. The car's rotating. Paul Hayho to the outside. They're going to be 3 wide over the hill. Matty D wants a bit of it as well. They're 2 by 2 as we head down into the chicane. So Paul Hayho looks to have capitalised here. He's in. Andrew maintains the inside. Paul gives him room. Matt's coming the long way round. Matty D's going to have this as well. Someone's cutting through the chicane. It's all kicking off. So Andrew drops from 2nd down into what looks like it's going to be 4th. Matt is still on the inside. Druids. Hard not to touch through here. Don't squeeze the inside driver onto the curb. There is the curb for the 2nd, but they managed to do Druids side by side. Andrew's going to have a good run out of there, but the shorter line for Matt leaves them level into the final turn. Joe's back in the mix just behind, and Brown's going to have a better line. They're still side by side. Please, I'm out of breath. Sort this out now. Across the line, Matty D's just ahead, but Andrew's going to not let him take the optimum. Is he going to tuck in behind? It looks like it's going to be a cutback. Can he do anything into Cascades? A floppy marker goes flying in the background. This is letting Paul run away a little bit. They've both hooked up the apex pretty well, so I think we can take a breath for a moment. It all settles down with Matty D in 3rd position. Andrew Wellborn in the background. Ant Brown's having to defend from Joe into the fast left-hander. Joe's then got a run. Can he send it down the inside? He's later on the brakes. No, has to file in. Andrew's still all over the back of Matt Davies. Go up the hill. Amy asked, aren't Andrew and Ant the stewards? Yeah, they were this evening, but if they're involved, we find someone else. So, yeah, they can't just let each other off. Right, Matt is now catching up with Paul Hayho, so this is a bit all over the place. Matty J's backed off. He's 0.4 off his best, but he's already home free up the hill. Paul with a good run up the hill there. Don't know if Andrew is able to capitalise on Matt AD being a little slower up the hill. Andrew way out wide. He's absolutely pushing. He was in 2nd place. He wants back on that podium in the next 7-8 minutes. And we've also got that threat of rain. Hasn't started yet. We'll expect it with about 3 or 4 minutes to go, I think. So just keep an eye. Forecast in the top right, the track showing us fast. Personal best laps coming in for car 10, Dave Rose. Ryan David is up past Craig Fulton. So Craig making places early on. Andrew way out wide. Desperate to get back in contention for a podium position. Scott Savage and Alex McGee still in the shot in the background. I think Tom Lyons was as well. A number of these drivers holding each other up, but it means that we've got quite a good battle pack, other than the fact that Matty Johnson has run away down the front. Craig had a slower lap that last lap. 1:47 for Craig Fulton as he leaves some black lines down into the hairpin. He's going to want that place back off of Ryan, who is your current leading AM driver. Fair gap to Ashwood, who's in the background, those Pertec colours. I don't know if he's a Pertec livery. He's certainly been inspired by the colours. Good run from Craig, out up the hill. It's going to be a dive at the last minute if he does it. No. Pressures Ryan. Doesn't look like Ryan quite had the optimum line through there, but he's actually pulled quite a good gap away from Craig. So So Craig not quite as fast as he'd want to be through the chicane there. Looked like the opportunity just fell away from him. Guys behind all with a bit more of a gap. All somewhat spread out. We'll try and keep an eye, see if Craig can bring himself back into contention. Quite a lot of field spread. It looks like Challoner is all over the back of Ant. Was that Joe Challoner flashing his lights? Shocking. Joe now on the limit. The car massively sideways. Ant Brown closing in on Andrew Wellborn now. Scott Savage is well in contention with Dave Rose further back. Scott's actually lost some places. He was slow on that last lap, lost 3 seconds. And looking for a way back towards that second place. Paul Hayo and Matt Davies there, very opportunistic earlier on as Andrew and Ant both started battling. Dave Rose now racing for Team Dave, you'll see in the bottom right. Thinking about the weather forecast, this might be indicative of a wet race too. I believe it's meant to simulate later on in the same day. We go then through the double right-hander of Druids. These gaps not getting particularly close at the moment. Ryan David still keeping Craig behind at this stage. Joe Challoner was not... Oh, there's the rain. There is the rain. So we've got 4 minutes. We were about right. 4 minutes left of this race. Is it worth someone further down pitting? And Brown not got the wipers on yet. He's got them set to manual. These other guys probably got them on automatic. There he is. He's got the wiper on. Here we go then. How quickly will this make a difference? Will we see cars off into the fields? We'll keep an eye out for cars that are massively off their delta. Moment, no one's dived to the pits just yet. It might be a case that you just drive the car as well as you can in the rain, because a pit stop is at least 30 seconds to change tyres. Then you've got the time to drive in and get back out again. It will, it will potentially not be worth it. Nathan Yates and Glenn Savage look like they're fairly close. They were close, they're not. Nathan Yates has got past Glenn Savage. He's lost 3 seconds on this lap. Andrew Wellborn's already 0.9 off his delta. So immediately the rain affects these drivers and the cars. Matty J off in the distance, as you see there. So just for context, these guys are about 1 second to 2 seconds off their personal best laps. Paul Hayho actually lost 2 seconds at the moment. So Paul a little slow off the turn there. Looks like Matt Davies. Glenn Savage 5 seconds lost at the moment. Let's just try and keep an eye on this lead battle, see how it's affecting these guys. Some of the guys further back round the lap have lost 6 or 7 seconds a lap at the moment. So it's looking like, yeah, the track has gone to greasy, so we've already lost a fair bit of the adhesion that we did have before. This top pack now breaking away. Alex McGee is further back than he was before. Was into the 47s. Matty J has indeed bought himself enough time to scamper away at the front. 6.3 seconds. We've briefly had a yellow flag. Ash Toft has been off. It's Ryan David there, the recovering car. It looks like he's over-rotated if he's climbing off the grass on the inside. 3.5 seconds down now for the guys up front. Oh, Joe Challoner in the background. He is challenging. And Brown wide. And Brown wide. He touches the grass. Joe gets excited, sends it into a slide. So he's not able to capitalise. That might have been his only chance to get up past. And these guys did in fact say that they were running a wet setup on dry tyres. Massively sideways for Matt. Does Paul find the same conditions? A little looked like it wanted to twitch. Andrew sideways. Joe's on a massive attack in the background. He wants to get past Ant Brown, but it looks coming back from the right hand side of the circuit like he had some oversteer there. As you heard, this is the final lap, so Matt's just got to tickle the car around. Joe's having an accident. Absolutely pushing. Harrison Fulton as well, not far off the back of Ashburton, trying to recover. So these guys, these four, all well within a chance of picking up some places. The timer has in fact ticked down to 0. We're on now a damp track, so we've surpassed Greasy. We are in fact damp. Glenn Savage has had an accident because he's 23 seconds off his delta, so he's lost a place to what I believe is Ashtoff. There it is, yeah. Right, here's your leader touching the curb. Matty J with a dominant drive as the others started battling. Just keep an eye. Joe's massively sideways in the background, but they've all spread out for a moment. Poor Blake is struggling off the side of the circuit. Druid's got the better of him just there. Paul Hayhoe having to defend. They get the warning for the slow car ahead. Paul's had to defend massively out of Druids. Matty D looks to go the long way round. It might be the karting line actually. He's used the karting line against the Kart Review UK car. He takes the tightest line that he can. It's going to be a sprint to the line. Paul Hayhoe gets it by 0.06. Matty holds on for third. Andrew gets that fourth place. Joe Challoner gets past Ant Brown in the closing stages. So Ant will be a little upset with that. Alex is mowing the grass. Here comes Scott and Dave Rose, Tom Lyons. We've got a drive through for Ryan David further back. There's a little battle over the hill. Ashburton has been done by Harrison Fulton down to the line. Ross Parker, after his earlier drive through, recovers to 14th, so that's a fantastic drive. Ryan David's not quite on the circuit, so Ryan's just been caught out by the weather conditions slightly and dropped down the field, but he had a really good showing earlier on and will get another chance at that. We saw Nathan Yates in strife early on, the front end of that car damaged, but he is going to bring it home in 16th. Absolutely, Amy, well done to Matt. He did drive off in that one. Ashtoff brings it round the final turn. That Union Jack rear end on his Ginetta. Across the line, these guys learning with every lap what these conditions can be like. And then we've got Glenn Savage and Blake Bruno in the pits. Matt, you've managed to take the win. They did you a favour by having a fight.
They certainly did, yeah. It was close with Ant for the start, and then I seen him just drop back into Andy. Then they started battling, and then everybody caught up to them. So it was fairly straightforward from my point of view. Just stayed clear of the way of them. Then to the end it was just sort of relaxed, don't really make any mistakes, and watch out for the rain coming.
Yeah, certainly affected the lap times pretty quick. Obviously these cars running slicks and the temp drops straight off. And now you've gone back to dry.
We have. The rain's coming again though. So it might be the same.
Yeah, so...
Yeah, try and do the same as last time.
Rain
but I
within
think-
half hour. This is really changeable.
Yeah.
Now we're 5 p.m, so it's going to be even colder.
Yeah.
Starting on a fast track, so yeah, comparable to the last one.
Yeah, I think it's going to be much the same, and try and avoid Ant, because I think he's going to try and come at me early on, rather than waiting a bit like we did last time when he fell off. I think he's going to try and come at it a bit harder. Don't know, we'll see. Try and do the same.
He will indeed. Yeah, absolutely. Good luck for this second race, Matt.
Thank you very much.
Joe, you were really after that place from Ant and took the battle right down to the end.
Yeah, it's pretty close. I made a mistake halfway through and I was battling Matt, and then that just pushed me back quite far, so I was out of it then. I just took advantage of Ant going wide and managed to slip through at the end.
The
But
rain
yeah.
really mixing things up, and it looks like it could do the same again this race.
Yeah, fingers crossed. It's good fun when it changes halfway through. Let's mix up a bit and add another variable into the mix. But yeah, I need it really. It's in 7th. Just Alex behind me in the pros, so yeah, need to make up some positions this race.
Eyes forward and see what happens. See what happens with the rain. Good stuff. Well, it was certainly entertaining in that first one, so good luck for the second.
Thanks, Tom.
We will be utilising the helicopter cam just to keep an eye on the front runners, and we get a good idea of people and their start positions. A starting window is given to each of the drivers, and they must be within that. You saw Ross getting his drive through on the last one. So, as we head away, Matty J leads the field down towards the final turn. Not a full outlap. It is just a partial outlap, so the tyres a little colder than you'd like. But everyone's aware of that. They've all got tyre monitors. So, let me know in the chat if we need to follow in anyone specific. If you see any incidents or people moving about, let me know. But as we head to the line, the green light is called. Matty J leads them away. Andrew Wellborn not too far forward in his box for that third place. Ant tucks in behind Paul Hayhoe. The long way round on Andrew Wellborn. He's looking to get the inside line down into Cascades. Matt Davies not as forward as we saw him in the last one. Paul breaks slightly earlier, Andrew slightly later, but Paul maintains that inside line. They get a fairly even drive, so we're going to be down into the fast left-hander. Matty D with a better run because he's not side by side anyone. Thinks about the long way round on Paul, isn't quite able to do it. There's some trees, some more trees, and as we come out from behind the trees, it's Paul looking for the inside line as Joe ducks towards the inside of Matty D. Andrew not quite able to get the nose in. We saw him understeering there earlier on, but it's still Matty J that leads them away at the front. Andrew does tuck in for that third position. As we head up the hill, Paul not able to capitalise. It's then Matty D that drops back slightly. I think we've had fewer incidents than the last race. That train a little slower off the... Joe looked like he was going to be under pressure from Scott Savage there, but they appear to have all got through okay. Up the hill we go. Paul Hayhoe now with a slightly better exit than Andrew. So it's a good run up the hill. Nice chunk of curb on the left hand side as they come through. Now the double right. Comparable exits there. Paul shows his nose to the inside, but not able to do anything at this moment. Tom Lyons now. Where's Harrison? There's Harrison. Harrison has fallen down the field a little bit. So he was 11th running with Alex McGee. He's now down to 16th. So Harrison is strife early on. Looks like a bit of a scuff on the left front. So not sure what's happened there. A little bit of contact potentially as they're wide further back. Blake's off to Hogwarts. Back down the front, Matty J leading the field. You've then got this breakaway group at the front. Scott Savage not quite holding on, but that's okay. He's leading class. You wouldn't expect him to be right in with those guys. If he would be up in the pros. So Scott doing really well. Again, we've seen good pace all evening. It's then Tom Lyons backing up the pack. He's got Alex McGee, Dave Rose, Ross Parker right behind him. It's the elder of the Fultons. It's Craggle who's under pressure, this time from Nathan Yates now, heading up the hill. Nathan really putting on the pressure. Craig getting onto that outside curb. Harrison recovering over the hill. A flash of the lights there from one of the cars further forwards. The tyre stack's taking a beating. I wonder if that was Harrison on the first lap. That would coincide with the left front damage that he is indeed showing. Up over the rise we go. Some more strife in the background. Blake is lagging somewhat. We will have to highlight that to them. It's only fair that we do point that out. Yeah, it's like racing a stop motion. I'm sure Pixar would be impressed, but it's almost impossible to race against. So that'll be highlighted to those guys, and that's unfortunate to see. See the car almost listing across the road. Hopefully not going to cause any contact for those guys. We've got Drugovic a little off the pack. Once again, Matt Johnston down Cascades, off down the straight, and Brown with a 43.9 on the last lap, 43.6 for Andrew Wellborn. So Ant being slightly off the pace has backed these guys up. Paul's 0.1 up on his delta. Andrew's matching his. Matty D flies into the banking, and that's going to compress this group once more. Scott again with the... What is with the gunshots? Christ, don't worry, I don't live in a bad area. Not really sure. Sorry, I'm now partially deaf. Apologies if that was really loud when you're watching that back. But they file through the chicane, and he's actually half a second up on his delta. But it does mean that this pack of 5 cars is all rather close. We're focusing on Paul because he's right at the epicentre of this fireworks display that I'm sat in. Paul not quite hooking up that first apex. It does give him a good second, but I think Matt Davies did have a good run. Paul looks to the inside just to cover that and then files back onto the racing line. Another corner neutralises that a little, and Paul gets a better run here, so Matt's not able to get past him. Ant's now bringing that gap back out a bit, so Matty J able to run away 1.4 seconds ahead at the moment. No sign of that rain on the forecast. Keep an eye. It was about this time we saw it showing on the radar in the previous one, so it looks like it will be a shorter duration if it does arrive. Just keep an eye out up there. This group all file through. The gaps just ebbing and flowing slightly. It's good that we've used that line whilst watching Paul, because I know that's one of his lines when he commentates. Out with Shell Oils we go. Again, the group behind, bunch slightly up behind Scott, out wide onto the grass. That's an opportunity for Tom Lyons. It's all woken up. Scott, just one slight mistake. Tom is there and through. Alex McGee not able to capitalise on that at the moment. Hopefully that's not put too much dirt on the tyres and he can just continue as previous, but Alex of course will be rubbing his hands together and wanting to push on. So Tom Lyons now in the lead of the silver category. Change of direction now as we head up the hill. Scott will be straight back on it. Fastest lap for Scott was slower than Tom. So Tom got his car in a good position and he was there ready to capitalise when the error came. Ryan David now got Craig Fulton in the mirror. Craig way up on his delta. Ross Parker out wide, slightly slow. That's going to put Ryan David down the inside. Craig Fulton's going to want to go through as well. Ross is going to try and hang it the long way round. Yeah, he does file in. I thought Craig had an incredible overrun there. He's got a fair run. Don't think it's going to be a move. No, not quite. So Ross out wide slightly. Ryan slow through the apex there. That's put Craig with an incredible run. Ross with ping. Down Cascades. All of them hooking up an apex, someone running slightly wide ahead. These guys all bunching off. Harrison in the background. Line with some really good pace at the moment, getting up past some more of the silver drivers. Hairpin we go. No sign of that rain in the next 10 minutes. So it looks like it'll be the last couple of laps. If it does indeed happen, we might just have an all dry race with the clouds coming over. Up the hill we go. No one particularly improving massively. Dave Rose, for some reason, he's 32 seconds up on his delta. Somehow I don't think that is the case. Thank you, Tropical Zorb in the chat. Awesome commentary and great stream. Very clean racing as well. Yeah, as we get a disqualification for Ash Toft. What have you done, Ash? What have you done? No, thank you for the compliments in the chat. That's very nice to hear. If you do race yourself and want to get involved, if you don't want to be one of our viewers and want to be one of the racers, please feel free to join the Discord. The bot keeps spamming it every so often. Come and get involved. So, quick rundown. Matt J leads. Ant Brown. Andrew Wellborn dropping away from Ant Brown slightly. Yeah, just half a second off the pace on the last lap, and Ant's managed to pull a bit more breathing room. Paul Hayhoe keeping Andrew honest at the moment, with Matt Davies and Joe Challoner tucked right in behind. You've then got a bit of a gap back to the battle we saw earlier on. It looks like Scott Savage has dropped down now behind Alex McGee as well. Scott Savage will now try and chase down those two. Dave Rose, of course, just behind him, will be wanting a piece of this action. And then got Ryan David, who we saw getting ahead of Ross Parker. Craig Fulton following him through. Ross with a good run off of there. Is he going to try and attack into the chicane? A flash of the lights, but he doesn't try and attack. It's a brave man that sends one down the inside into that chicane. Hopefully Ryan and Craig, and also, of course, Ross don't battle too hard, because just behind Nathan Yates and Ash Wotton waiting to capitalise. Halfway through, we're getting there. So, no sign of rain, and we're sub 10 minutes. So, we should be a dry race all the way through to the end. Harrison there chasing down the pack after that earlier damage. You've then got Blake. Doesn't look like he's lagging too much at the moment. So, finding his feet, finding that pace. You've then got Igor Drogovic racing Glenn Savage. These guys having a nice battle for that 18th place. Drogovic parks it on the apex. Glenn not with an opportunity to pass him at this point. They both dive back to the left hand side to try and maximise the run up the hill now. Glenn with a good run out of there, up on his delta. Just keep an eye as the leaders all tick through the next sector. Paul Hayhoe, Andrew Wellborn, people everywhere. So it looked like Andrew went wide. Let's 30 seconds back. So Andrew having to defend from Paul down into Cascades. That's given Matty D one hell of a run. Andrew compromised off of Cascades, puts Paul to the inside, which we know is a tricky move to pull off. It's a fast left-hander. There's a slight bump that pushes Andrew out wide. Matt and Joe tuck to the inside and get through down into the hairpin. Paul backs out, lets Andrew ahead. Now they're past Matt. Sorry, probably shouldn't have replayed that, but I thought it might have settled down slightly. So the two we saw battling earlier on that let Matt through, it's actually Joe that's come out the winner up into third. These three all tripping over each other. Druids now. Line astern through there. Matty Davies with a slight run. Paul looking to the inside, but they're all going to have to find the same braking point as to not run into each other. Nice, close, clean racing, which is what we like to see. But it is letting the guys ahead run away. Joe seems to have got through unscathed. I wonder if it was an error for Matty D. trying to break away and wasn't quite able to. I'm sure we can ask him after the race. So Andrew holds on for fourth at the moment. The top three all able to break away slightly, and Brown actually closing in on Matt Johnston at the front. 1.4 the gap there. Just keep an eye on the background. Alex McGee coming after Tom Lyons, but we will focus here for a moment. Paul scared off that inside line. Matty D with a chunk of grass through there. That's letting Andrew just get a bit of breathing room. Matt desperate to get back past. If you are just joining us, don't forget to give us a follow, and if you are able to subscribe, that would help us out massively. Helps keep the racing free for all of these guys. We do make server contributions at the moment, but if we get enough Twitch followers, then who knows? Conscious that Ross Parker and Craig Fulton, the guys back there, all having a good battle. So this has spread out somewhat. Yeah, these guys all bunching up. So at the moment, Ryan David still leads this pack. Just ahead, what's going on with Alex McGee and Tom Lyons? McGee is up past Tom Lyons. He's managed to do that through the chicane. Down into Druids. Is one move going to breed another? These guys were all 0.1 apart when they came over the crest. So this second battle pack now, I think, has settled down for a moment. McGee leads Lyons. Then a gap back to Savage. Craig not able to get past Ryan at the moment. Last lap, slightly quicker for Craig. He did close in rather well. He's just sideways. It's little elements like that that just hinder his progress. McGee slow. McGee slightly slow off of Cascades. That's put Tom right onto the back of him. Guys try and keep the cars settled as they head now around the bank section. These guys are all quite spread out at the moment. Ant's 0.4 off of his delta, so not quite attacking Matt as he was in the previous laps. Joe could well come under fire from Andy Wellborn as well here. Just watching for where the next battle could erupt. Ryan with a tighter line into the final part of that chicane as we head up the hill. It's giving Craig a slight run. He'll be able to close the gap a little, but he's taken a massive hit at the curb. Craig off. Not quite off, but that's given Ross an incredible run. Craig's lurched to the inside, so he's going to send Ross the long way round. Lights ablaze. This is going to be an opportunity for Ryan to try and get away. Ross with his nose to the outside. Craig leaves him plenty of room, but does get the drive off the turn to maintain that position. Ross not quite with an overlap. He's just got the car offset half a width to the inside. Through turn one, a huge chunk of grass from Craig again. Ross with a run. Is there an overlap? There is an overlap because Craig's not been able to turn in. He's then going to have to try and park it on the apex. Ross with a better line, that wider sweep in. It's going to give him a run into this left-hander. No, it's not. He tucks back in. Probably for the best. Going and feeding the car through. Just let Ryan run away a little further ahead. But Davies was all over the back of Paul Hayhoe a moment ago. He still is, and Andrew Wellborn's caught up to Joe Challoner. So we go try and get a wider angle. Flick of oversteer for Andrew, I think, might compromise him up the hill. So you've got the lead two all broken apart and broken away. 5 seconds ahead of these 4 cars. These guys may just settle till the end of the race, or it could all kick off again. We'll just try and keep an eye out You've then got that next battle pack, another 4 cars. You've got Alex McGee, Tom Lyons, Scott Savage and Dave Rose ready to sweep up pieces slightly off the back of that pack. You've then got Ryan David leading Craig Fulton and Ross Parker as a group of 3. It's then Nathan Yates, Ash Wootton and Harrison Fulton as your next group of 3. I think we've got 2 laps to go as Nathan Yates is slightly wide. Does that provide an opportunity for Ash Wootton? I think it might. It's going to be from a long way back if he does it. No, Ash backing out of that one. Nathan holding on to that 14th place. Blake is then a fair distance back but improving with each lap. He's down in the 48, so he's 4 seconds off. 4 seconds off the rest of the pack. He's ahead of Glenn Savage and Drogovic. And Ash Toft has left because he was disqualified. Accident 58, car 58, Alex McGee has lost a position to Scott Savage. So Alex McGee down through the left hand of the car, pushes on, it's put him wide, he's braked early on the inside. Tom Lyons with good pace, that good, he's clean driven into the back, not once, not twice, but 3 times. And that's allowed Scott Savage to come through, and it has given Dave Rose the opportunity to come at Tom Lyons. So Tom has backed out of that move and let Alex McGee off up the road, but he took a couple of bites at the rear of that other Ginetta.
Right, man, leader is on the final lap.
So leader on the final lap, that's Matty J through turn 1. There we go. This will be our final lap. Now, Joe Challoner, can he hang on for that 3rd place? Matt Davies at the back of the pack flashing his lights. He wants that position back. He wants to move forward within this pack. My phone has died, so I can't see the chat currently. Joe slow down Cascades. Andrew lurches towards the back of him. The cars wiggle slightly as we head down out of the first sector. 0.1 the gap now back to Wellborn. Tips the car in. Needs to get it stopped for the long bank section of the Shell Oils hairpin. And as Andrew goes forward, Paul comes with him. Andrew jinks to the inside as if to say to Paul, nah, not here mate. They all leap over the curb, 9 astern. Down into the second of the chicanes. And as we head out up the hill, it will be just the final sector left to do. Ryan David is down on his delta further back, but we'll focus here for a moment. Let's see how they all get out the final turn. Ryan David still leads that group for a moment. We've then got Ash Wootton with Harrison Fulton. Sorry, Matt. So Matt does come across the line to win from Ant Brown. Joe Challoner, I say holds on, but are very commanding as the rain starts to fall. We cross the line. Joe takes 3rd, Andrew 4th, Paul 5th, Matt Davies 6th. Scott then has 7th place. Alex, after that earlier contact with Tom Lyons, leads him home 8th, 9th, and Dave Rose for 10th. One hell of a finish. Ryan David does indeed hold on against Ross Parker by less than a 10th. Craig Fulton follows those 2 home, so Ross up past Craig. It's then Nathan Yates, Ash Wootton, Harrison Fulton not able to get past. And then the guys caught back out in the rain. We've got Blake, Bruno, again improving on his lap times and staying out of trouble. He's got the engine notes of Glenn Savage closing in behind him. I believe this is Deer Leap. So over Deer Leap we go for Blake to finish the 2nd race. And then Glenn Savage and then Drogovic heading down into the final turn. Go on, lad, keep your foot in it. Well, a rather full-on evening of racing for us there. Battles up and down the field, changeable weather in the first, and the sun just holding on right until the last second in the final race.
Green light, give it all you can.
Matt, I guess I'll speak to you again, able to hold on in that last one. Well, hold on. Wasn't holding on really, was it? It was driving away at the front.
Much the same. Ant was a lot closer that time, which kept me like going a bit. Yeah, felt a bit more comfortable that race. A bit quicker lap times, a bit more consistent.
Yeah, and at the halfway point, we knew that the rain was unlikely to hit right till the end, so I guess that calms things down a little bit. You're not anticipating what's to come.
Yeah, that's it really. We were watching the like 10 minutes to go or whatever, and yeah, by that halfway point it still was on 10 minutes to go, so we knew it wasn't going to happen like on the last lap or anything. It was going to be just after, so just carried on like normal really, ignored the rain and cracked on.
Good man, well done. Double win. Does
Exactly.
your championship the world of good?
Hopefully. I think I was a bit behind before this.
Yeah, and now you'll be in the lead. Shock. Good man. Right, we'll try and report back on the results in the championship next week. I've kind of been ignoring it. I'll add another element. Good man. Right, we'll pop you back in the other chat. Congratulations on the double win.
Thank you very much.
Evening, Paul. That was a rather full-on race yet again.
Right, Tom, how you do?
Yeah, not bad. It was quite an entertaining one this evening.
Yeah, it was. Race one was interesting. I thought it was quite happy just going around in second, I think it was, and then it started raining, and I just had no reference because Matt was so far up the road. Obviously Matt Davis was behind me and he was catching all the time, probably risking a little bit more trying to catch me up, whereas I didn't really have that marker. But yeah, that was quite interesting. Then race two, I had reasonable pace in race two, and then I was kind of not stuck behind Andy, but I was really close and I could see Matt Davies on me all the time. I was like, I need to either get past Andy or I'm going to get done by Matt. And I went down the inside into the fast left, but kind of mid-corner, tried to brake to try and scrub some speed off so I'd make the apex, and it just did the opposite, just understeered into Andy. So I let him, he went off slightly, so I let him back through, and then Joe and Matt got past us, and then it was just a bit of a battle to the line, really.
Yeah, so we saw that bit where Joe and Matt got through, but whilst I was watching the replay for that, then yourself and Andy got back past Matt Davies. Was that an error once he was passed?
Yeah, I can't even remember how we got back past. I think Matt and Andy may have been, because Joe got past Matt Davies out the head, I think, and then I think Andy and Matt got together in the chicane, and I think I got down the inside into the chicane. I think I kind of snuck it down the inside, let's say, and I think that's what happened. But Matt was kind of unlucky today because he was really quick. Matt Davies, this is.
Yes.
He doesn't need luck. So yeah, it was a shame for Matt because he was quick all night. But I think overall it was quite evenly matched. Good racing between kind of the four of us, really.
Yeah, absolutely. We had lots of groups of four. Obviously, you had Matty, Jay, and another county, but he's already finished next week's race. But yeah, it was a number of groups breaking off and battles up and down the field. We had another gap that was less than a tenth at the finish line. So yeah, battles up and down the field. Some really good racing.
Glad to hear. Hopefully, it's a good watch on the stream.
Hopefully, have to let me know. Good man.
Nice one.
Right, we'll catch up with you, obviously, with Andy on on Wednesday in the compacts around Cadwell, and we'll see you again next week for some more.
Yes. Nice one. Cheers, Tom.
Good man. Cheers, Paul. God, this bit of ground music's a bit louder. Right, we'll wrap it up there. Thank you to everyone who has joined. If you have left a message at the end of the stream, sorry, I can't see it. My phone's died. Yeah, as I just said. Oh, fatal error. Game has crashed. I think it's booted me out the server. So yes, come and see us again next weekend. If you want to come and race with us, don't want to watch the stream, you want to be on the grid, you can do that. You can race with us. Join the Discord, submit the relevant information, and you can be on the grid next week. Alternatively, join us for Assetto Corsa on Wednesdays. Andrew Wellborn will be commentating that one, and I'll be on the grid trying to win. Yeah, brilliant, good stuff. Thank you to everyone that's joined us this evening. It's always nice to see more viewers than just one. You realise you've left your microphone on mute. Who would do such a thing? Thank you all. Good night.